are the people that are going to be making the decisions of whether or not Kalen DeBoer is the guy. Are they going to have those crimson colored glasses that have Nick Saban hoisting up the trophy every other season? Or are they going to be realistic about what Kalen DeBoer has been able to accomplish? Because I still see him as a solid coach. As we enter 2026, who is under the most pressure? We have closed the chapter on 99.9% of teams in 2025. We have 2 teams left playing for the national championship, Miami and Indiana, respectively. What coaches, what teams, what programs are under the most pressure? What would we classify as a make or break season for either coach or program? And to be fair, the identity of a program is the coach, so it's interchangeable. If someone was to ask me what is the biggest make or break team in 2026, I may have to say Alabama. When we look at Kalen DeBoer in Alabama, you get a mixed review from Alabama fans. I think it comes from the perspective of what they've become accustomed to, which is the Nick Saban era. It's national championships. It's competing for SEC titles. And to be fair, Kalen DeBoer got to the SEC championship, got smacked around by Kirby Smart, was able to win a playoff game on the road, and then got smacked by Indiana. So by most standards for college football coaches, that would be solid. But when you're looking on the crimson colored glasses that you become accustomed to with Nick Saban, you would almost feel like he's disappointing you. And if we get to the 3rd season, say we get into a scenario where he misses a college football playoff, which isn't out of the realm of possibility. When we see him in the first year, they were on the outside looking in. Then we get to this year, there was an argument to be made that they shouldn't have been in by how bad they lost in the SEC championship. Then you go into year 3, their transfer portal hasn't been great. Let's call a spade a spade. Their player acquisition has been great on the high school front. But if we're looking at a make or break season, are you going to rely on true freshmen to save your year? Especially now that you're going to be replacing the running backs, you're going to be replacing the quarterback, you're going to be replacing 2 wide receivers. And then we go on the defensive side of the ball. There's a bunch of pieces there. They have not been that aggressive in the transfer portal, and they got bullied in some spots. I mean, truly, Texas put them in a locker, locked the door. We see Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers, who was committed and enrolled at your school, go to Texas. In Alabama, I get really concerned as we go into 2026. Are the people that are going to be making the decisions of whether or not Kalen DeBoer is the guy, are they going to have those crimson colored glasses that have Nick Saban hoisting up the trophy every other season? Or are they going to be realistic about what Kalen DeBoer has been able to accomplish? Because I still see him as a solid coach, but I don't think you're going to find another Nick Saban. And the question really does become, does this team at the end of 2026 have an identity? Because I don't think it does right now. Does this team have hope that they can continue to build and they're going to be circling the national championship? Because I think that's the threshold that you need to be at if you're going to be the head coach at Alabama. Are you at least circling the national championship picture? Are we in December? Are we in the early parts of January and we're looking at national championship contention for Alabama? It doesn't mean you have to be in the game. It doesn't mean you have to be a game away, but are you seen in a light where you're a competitor? No one saw them as a competitor this season. And then obviously the year prior, they were a talented team with Jalen Milroe, but no one really saw them as a true competitor. So I would say Alabama is definitely going into a make or break year, especially if they were to miss a college football playoff. I could see them looking for a new head coach. South Carolina with Shane Beamer is an easy answer here. It's easy to say Shane Beamer and South Carolina are entering a 2026 make or break season. If we go with the 3-headed monster of Lenore Sellers, then we go Dylan Stewart, and then we throw in, let me restart that. If we go into 2026 with Nick Harbor, Lenore Sellers, and then we throw in Dylan Stewart on the defensive side of the ball, and we get to the end of that season, and we're looking back at the era of that 3-headed monster, all potential first-round talents. I'm not saying they're all going to go in the first round, but first-round talents, and you haven't won anything. You had one miraculous year where you beat down on Clemson. You were, the hottest team in the country, potentially a college football playoff team, but you didn't get in. And then 2025 happens, and you just completely fell right on your face. I mean, a top 15 team going into the season, not even getting close to that by the end of it. We all get them back. and I'm Shane Beamer, and I'm saying, what can I do to get this team to be competitive? What is the standard? Frankly, what is going to be the threshold that keeps Shane Beamer comfortable in his job? I'm not to talk about a guy's job security every other episode, but truly we're looking at someone that, if I'm in administration and I'm looking at Shane Beamer and I'm saying, damn, I got this incredible quarterback, this talented guy that can make anything happen on any given play. I have a 6'5" wide receiver, a former track star that's given all to football for 2 straight seasons. And then you have Dylan Stewart, a potential top 3 pick, a guy that can compete with Colin Simmons as the best edge rusher in 2027. And I haven't won anything. If he's not able to win with that, what is he going to be able to do for the future seasons? What is he going to be able to do 3 years from now? Is he going to be able to find these freak of nature players, these once in a generation players again? I don't think that that's very likely. So I really begin to wonder, South Carolina, what is the expectations going into 2026, knowing that you've been able to re-sign these 3 guys? I know for a fact Dylan Stewart had a table or an offer on his table for a guy like LSU and Lane Kiffin. I know Lenore Sellers, he more than likely had offers on his table to potentially go to like a Miami and try to develop, but you were able to retain all 3 players. You have to be able to win something, and what that something is something that needs to be seen. I've talked about it before. Texas is in a make or break season for 2026. This could be easily put as, if we look back on the Arch Manning saga and Steve Sarkisian's tenure, and there's no college football playoff appearances, there's nothing close to a national championship appearance, especially with the investment that we've seen in the transfer portal, potentially Jordan Seaton, for sure Cam Coleman, for sure Hollywood Smothers and Raleek Brown and all the other pieces on the defensive side of the ball, and you didn't get a college football playoff run, more than likely to get a back-to-back years where you are first in the country in terms of the preseason rankings, it's a make or break year for Texas. I don't think that there's any other way to put it, right? I think you got to, at the bare minimum, get to the second round of the college football playoff competing for the SEC. The last 2 I want to name are not as high profile. Also, they're not in the SEC. I would classify Baylor and Dave Aranda are easily in a make or break season. Now, I have not got confirmation that DJ Lagway is the quarterback for Baylor, but he is still committed. And if they were able to obtain DJ Lagway as their starting quarterback, I would feel pretty damn good that this is going to be a make or break year for Dave Aranda, a guy that has been teetering back and forth and continuously circling the hot seat conversation. Now you're going to be looking at 2026 with this former 5-star quarterback that potentially could be going to the NFL draft, has top 5 pick upside in terms of DJ Lagway, who I still continuously believe in, and you're not able to win anything from it. Especially, go look at Baylor's schedule. I'm sorry, it does not take much to go win a lot of games there. And I think Dave Aranda, if he gets a 6-6, a 5-7, hell, maybe even a 7-5 with Lagway on the roster and some of the pieces that I do like with Baylor, that could be the last Dave Aranda season, and we could be looking at a new era of Baylor football, which I think would be unfortunate because I do believe Dave Aranda is a pretty damn good coach. Wisconsin with Luke Fickell is an obvious one. I know I said Alabama is the first one that comes to mind. The second one would be Luke Fickell in Wisconsin. Colton Joseph, the Old Dominion quarterback, watched a little bit of his tape. He's a dynamic athlete. He can make a lot of plays running the football. I just don't know, he's a little bit of Mark Gronowski, a little bit. The throwing motion, the arm strength really isn't there, and it's going to be a sizable jump going from the Sun Belt to the Big Ten, knowing Wisconsin's schedule. Luke Fickell obviously needs one more season to really try to put all of his chips at the center of the table and prove that he's a guy that can elevate this roster, that he can elevate this program to where they need to be, because this was seen as a slam dunk coming from Cincinnati to Wisconsin, and it has just floundered. It has been a terrible match. And really, we get to see this year, what is Luke Fickell going to be able to do, because he got a vote of confidence from the administration. What is he going to be able to create? It's to be seen. But I think nonetheless, this is a make or break year for him.